like say you have laryngitis or something, you know, how does the recording then fit? Because I know you have to have it done on a certain schedule.
Right.
What exactly happens?
Well, that can be the hardest thing. You know, I'll never forget. I was doing a musical theater show called Swing, and oh, you know it, cool. I love that show, and it's a big show, and it was a theater that was trying to be, you know, pure about everything. So we weren't mic'd. That could be really difficult. We weren't mic'd for the show, and I had to sing like tons of songs, and we had opening night. It was a preview, and there were going to be press people there, so it was kind of a big deal, right? That was on a Thursday night. Well, that Thursday afternoon, I was cast for my first video game called Spike Out Battle Street, and Christopher Sabat was directing. And there was no way I was going to pass up on that. Or, you know, yes, it was an opening night, but I was like, video game? Yes, of course, I'm going to go. And that session, I think, was from like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We did get a lunch break, but video games, I'll that stuff for hours. And he did help pace me through that. It's great when you're being directed by someone who's really good. You know, pay attention to those people. But he sort of paced me through. And I also learned to save your voice. Don't ever hold back on a reaction. Because I mean, you guys know if you hear a voice actor that's not really committing to a ramp up or to a cry or scream or whatever, I mean, you know when it's not authentic. And directors generally, if it's a good director, they won't let you get away with, you know, just you know, and even though you feel your vocal cords going, that's just what you have to do. So I did learn, give it 100% the first time, because if you can get it in the first take and be done, you know, bonus. Then you can move on to the next 200 cues. But it is important, in my opinion. There are some people that have what I like to call Teflon cords. They can stay out all night, they can smoke and drink and get 4 hours of sleep, and then continue on and be just fine. I don't know that many people like that, there's a few. I'm not one of those people. I have to sleep. Certainly don't smoke. That would kill. And I'm not going to get all PSA up here, but it's not going to help your career, I'll just tell you that. But when you have to go hours, it's like being an athlete. You know, you have to warm up your muscles before you go play the game. Same thing if you have a long voice session, warming up and not just having cold muscles. You know, it's simple, it doesn't take a lot of time. Fortunately, I'm sure you guys experience this here in Texas. We drive everywhere, and it's normally enough for us in the Metroplex 30 minutes to get anywhere. Well, it's 30 minutes in the car, you can warm up. You can just warm up by singing the songs on the radio. That's fine, or just speaking. But it's important to, But anyway, just vocal warm-up, also to get your mouth moving. Because it's interesting, a lot of these shows, especially, like, I remember at Basilisk, there was, no, it's not over. You don't need it, that's cool. There's a lot of, you know, Japanese names and things like that. To spit that out, I don't speak Japanese, I wish I did, but I don't. To spit out some of that, or very technical cues, technical terminology, like Sophia on Aquarion. She was always, you know, I can't even make up what she said, so glad I could read it. But, you know, 5-syllable word after 5-syllable word, you know, at 10 a.m., if you don't have things ready to go, it's kind of hard to spit that out naturally. So, warming up, taking care of your cords, sleeping, drinking water, and I'm a big fan of throat coat. It's a really good tea if your throat's sore. But in that session, that gaming session, he did tune into this throat spray called Satori, which is no longer on the market. But it was really good stuff and it helped. But we got through opening night okay, I didn't crack. And that was my big fear. I'm like, after doing battle sounds all day, like, my voice is going to crack. And the critics are going to get me. But it didn't happen, thank God. But, you know, you do stuff like anything. You got to take care of your instrument, basically. And it's really not that hard to drink water and sleep. So, I'm going to do this. I know you're not going to do that this weekend, but that's fine. You don't have a voice session tomorrow night, so you guys can stay at the rave all night, you know, and drink energy drinks and be crazy. Any other questions? Yeah. I got some door. I do that all the time.
Like Funimation, like let's say they they have a voice in mind, would they call this person, or do they go through the audition?
That's a really good question. Okay, basically she asked, do they already have a preconceived notion of what they want for the voice? And if they have someone they know that does that already, are you going to have a shot? Is that pretty much what you're asking? Okay, the good news is, a company like Funimation, when we go into audition, they do have some characters in mind. When you've been there for a little bit, you sort of establish, you know, the type of characters you do really well, that you don't, you know, that come naturally to you. However, you can go in and audition there and say, you know what, I've been working on my 5-year-old girl, she's rocking, and there's a character like that, let me give it a go. Fortunately, they're cool people, they're kind people, I really like working there. You know, it's a great industry to be involved in, but they're great people to work with, and they'll let you audition for roles that they wouldn't consider you for. I'm voicing 2 teenagers right now, which I'm pretty excited about. I love teenagers. But it's really fun because, you know, my characters are all usually so together. And I love playing, you know, girls that are, oh my gosh, it's all over the wall, it's so exciting! You know, it's fun to do something different instead of, oh, I'm a scientist. Well, don't get me wrong, glad to be a scientist. But it's fun to play, you know, someone who kind of feels like their own personality sometimes just bouncing off the wall. But they let you. And when we go in, people usually ask, do you get the script ahead of time? We don't. We don't. It's a cold read, but you have a few minutes to look over the sides. And sides, that's just a term for the lines you're going to read when you go in there. But you have a few minutes to look over those, and then usually you can say, you know what, I want to give this character a shot. I've never had anyone tell me, or any other actors I know, no, I don't want you to read for that. So usually, you know, they let you give it a go. So it's cool when that happens. And that's how new people can break in too. They just come in there right for the part. And sometimes things change. Like in Full Metal, you know, we've got a new voice. What is her name? Keep redhead. Do you guys know?
Maxie White.
Maxie, thank you. Maxie Whitehead coming in. So, you know, because, you know, the boys grow up and Maxie, you know, came in for that role. So things like that can happen. So it's pretty open. But at the same time, like with anything you do, when people tell you no, don't be discouraged by that. Because that will happen in this industry a lot. And you just roll with it and keep going. You know? Do you have any more questions? Any more questions at all? Yeah? Okay. Let's see if we're doing our time here. All right. Why don't we do this? We've got about 15 minutes left of this panel. So if anybody wants anything autographed, I'll be more than happy to do that.